The name Satoshi means intelligence. Nakamoto is the name of families from the central provinces of Japan. Like, that's curiously close to CIA. So then you dig a little further. Curiously, in 2006 or 7, I can't remember the exact year, I think it was 7, there is a paper sponsored by the NSA, written by Satoshi Sakamoto. You can look this up, like, it's true, Satoshi Sakamoto, who was the chief technology officer at NTT in Japan. And it talked about a peer-to-peer cash system. Curious? Interesting? Okay, interesting. So I dug deeper. I'm like, all right.
마크 유스코는 미국의 유명한 투자 전문가이자 오랜 시간 동안 전통 금융과 암호화폐 투자에 대한 깊은 통찰력을 바탕으로 비트코인의 장기적인 성장 가능성을 강력하게 지지하고 있는 인물 중 하나인데요. 오래전부터 코인에 대한 그의 예측은 높은 적중률을 보이고 있고, 사토시에 대한 음모론부터 비트코인 시스템이 설계된 방식, 그리고 왜 이 기술이 지금까지 살아남았는지를 명확하게 정리합니다.
One thing that has held me, I just find very kind of odd about Bitcoin is Satoshi. It's like, okay, there's this guy who made this beautifully elegant invention that could one day be new money, right?
Yeah.
Digital gold, so to speak. Nobody knows who he is.
Yeah.
This seems a bit crazy to me. Like, this has to be deeper than one man. It has to be bigger than one man. Don't you think?
So, I mean, it's totally logical, and I've had the same thought. I've actually done real work on this from the very beginning. So when it first suggested to me, I went to the source, the internet, and I typed in, who's Satoshi Nakamoto? Curiously, what comes up is Intelligence Central. The name Satoshi means intelligence. Nakamoto is the name of families from the central provinces of Japan. Like, that's curiously close to CIA. So then you dig a little further. Curiously, in 2006 or 7, I can't remember the exact year, I think it was 7, there is a paper sponsored by the NSA, written by Satoshi Sakamoto. You can look this up, like, it's true, Satoshi Sakamoto, who was the chief technology officer at NTT in Japan. And it talked about a peer-to-peer cash system. Curious? Interesting? Okay, interesting. So I dug deeper. I'm like, all right, if you were in charge of the global reserve currency and you saw the writing on the wall that that was going to go away and the only end game was devaluation. And what I mean by that is, once you get into debt, you have 4 options. You can pay it back, okay? You can restructure it, you can default on it, or you can devalue it. Can't pay it back. Like, you could seize all the assets of every human in America, you couldn't pay the debt. Not just their income, but all their assets. You couldn't pay the debt. So paying it back, off the table. You can restructure it, like gives people 50 cents on the dollar.
Right.
But someone's got to take the other side. Not many takers for that, but you could try. You could default. Politicians, what happens if you default? You're out. Politicians don't like to be out. I joke all the time, there's no left, there's no right, there's no Republicans, Democrats, there's in and out. When you're in, you do or say whatever it takes to stay in. And when you're out, you do or say whatever it takes to get in. I mean, think about it. Ronald Reagan, not a Republican. He was a lifelong Democrat. He's like, I want in. I'm going to be a Republican. Donald Trump, same thing. I mean, it's in and out. So they're not going to default on it because they don't want to be out. So you're going to devalue it, debase. And that's been the history. Look, there have been 775 paper currencies in the history of the world. 3/4 no longer exist. They all went to zero. All the others are going to zero. Look, the pound sterling, it's called the pound sterling. It's the oldest currency still surviving. It's like 326 years old, something like that. It used to be, for a note, you got a pound of sterling silver. Today, it's like 194 pounds. So it's just been devalued to, cents on the dollar or fractions of a cent on a dollar. So the key here is it possible that, the other one is if you look at Satoshi Nakamoto, Sa comes from Samsung, Toshi comes from Toshiba, Nakamichi, and Motorola. So you could say it was a bunch of tech companies, but I don't believe that one. But the Central Intelligence Agency makes sense to me. Why? Because if I'm the world reserve currency and I see the writing on the wall, what if I got everybody to swap the worthless fiat into this cool asset And then I seized it all out the back door. Now, we're, again, super lucky. We, by happenstance, we have 3 general partners, and then we have a venture partner, and our venture partner is Scott Stornetta. If you read the white paper in the back, there are 8 footnotes. 3 of them, Scott and his partner, Stuart Haber. Scott coined the term blockchain. He and Stuart, this is great. They said, if I lend you money, Aaron, we need a judge to make sure that we keep our ledgers the same, okay? But the problem is, if Mark's unscrupulous, he could bribe the judge to change the number. So we need a judge to judge the judge. But then he could bribe both people. So we need a judge to judge the judge. He says, well, we need everyone in history. That's a blockchain. So he was brilliant, Stanford. And so he's got 3, white paper notes. And so I asked him, I said, what do you think of this? He said, interesting theory. Nope. I'm like, Scott, come on. You didn't even think about it. He says, well, no, I did. But the way you're thinking about a backdoor is impossible with Bitcoin because of the air gap. But then as soon as he said, but with Ethereum, you could have a backdoor. Whole nother story for another day. But that was really interesting. So is it possible it was NSA or CCP? Sure. I don't think it's CCP because CCP is going down their own digital currency. Look, digital currencies, government digital currencies are evil incarnate, right? I mean, programmable money. I mean, all you got to do is watch Augustin Carstens for even a minute 47, Jabba the Hutt or Kingpin. I mean, not good, right? Yeah. Of course, we should have the power to control how you spend your money. No, you shouldn't. So is it possible it was, Satoshi Sakamoto and NTT and the NSA? Sure. Is it likely that it was one person? No. Yeah. Do I believe it was 4 people? Maybe, right. One who passed away, another one who was in jail, and that's why, multi-sig and you can't move. Is it Craig Wright? Hell to the no. But I don't think it matters in that the beauty of the system is that it is anonymous. Like if there was a CEO or if it was a company, that company can be coerced, right? Why does Google get to read all of our messages? Because they were coerced, right? The government showed up one day and said, if you want to be the biggest, you will truncate your fiber. One closet for you, one closet for us. Like, really? I mean, all our data you get to see for, what do we get out of that? You get to exist. That's a real story. That's real. Yeah. So is it possible? For sure. I mean, the NSA created SHA-256, right? So, or CIA, one of the two. So, certainly possible. But I don't think it matters because once you unleash this system into the world, it's an adaptive biological system. The miracle was it got to $1.
Interesting.
1 to 100, not a miracle. 100 to 1,000, not a miracle. 1,000 to 10,000, not a miracle. The miracle was that anybody used it at all. Tomorrow is Bitcoin Pizza Day. We're going to celebrate. I should remember his name because he is a really, really important person in our history because he proved that you could use this.
Bought a pizza with it, right?
Yeah, and he bought 2 pieces for $10,000, which is over $1 billion. And everyone's like, oh, he's such an idiot. No, he's a mad genius because he proved that this worked. And so the key is that once you release an adaptive biological system and it survives, it thrives and it morphs. And one of the things I love about the debates, everybody's like, Jamie Dimon, he says, well, Satoshi could show up tomorrow and change the code. No, Jamie, here's the lines. And it's only 7 lines. But in order for that to change, more than 50% of the nodes would have to agree. Now, that can happen. That's a complex adaptive system. But one guy can't show up and change that. It's not the way it works. And so it's such a beautiful and elegant system. It actually defies logic to think that one person could have got it all right. Think about this. The 51% attack will never happen. How do you engineer that as a single human being? How could you come up with this game theory to say there'll never be a 51% attack because the moment you achieve the 51% attack, the value would go to 0 because all the other nodes wouldn't acknowledge what you just stole. So there'll never be a 51%. It wouldn't make sense to spend all those resources to do a 51% attack. Oh my God, that's mad genius. So it doesn't seem logical that could be one person, that one person could be that smart. Maybe. But I'm at this point, I don't care because it survived.
마크 유스코는 비트코인은 단순한 기술 이상의 자생적 시스템이라고 말하며 그 창시자인 사토시 나카모토의 정체는 여전히 미스터리지만 그가 누구인지보다 더 중요한 것은 이 기술이 검열에 저항하고 중앙 통제를 벗어나 생명체처럼 진화하고 있다는 사실이라고 말합니다. 그는 그 자체가 기적이며 한 개인이나 조직의 산물이라 보기엔 너무 정교하고 아름답게 설계돼 있다고 말하며 결론적으로 비트코인은 신뢰할 수 없는 세상에서 신뢰를 가능케 한 최초의 화폐 시스템이라고 말합니다. 우리는 객관적인 시각으로 투자를 해야 하고 지금 당장만 보고 투자할 게 아니라 미래를 보고 투자를 해야겠죠. 010-2472-0429 전화번호로 탈겜이 적어서 문자 보내주시면 2025년 비트코인과 코인 시장에 대한 분석, 정보들 공유해드리겠습니다. 현재 우리에게 중요한 것은 이러한 정보를 어떻게 활용할 것인가입니다. 지금까지 영상 시청해주셔서 감사하고요. 다음에 더 좋은 영상으로 찾아뵙겠습니다. 감사합니다.